The question comes about, where does the Great Giza Pyramid get its energy? Or more to the fact, the system. Where does the system get its energy? And for that, I'd have to say, what is energy? Energy is the movement, the way we kind of look at it, and we can really bicker because there's lots of stored energy in a rubber band. I don't think there's a lot of movement of electrons. It's releasing of, it doesn't matter. What we're looking at today is energy, static electricity type energy. The stuff that you get when you take your sheet out of the dryer when you didn't use a static cling pad and it goes snap and it hurts. The thing when you're walking across the rug and you touch the doorknob, that sort of thing. That is energy. It's a minor version of what you get out of these little guys, but it's energy. So where does the pyramid get its energy? Well, if you were to put a structure anywhere, it's going to get brush discharge static electricity. Whatever amount nature provides, amount version X, okay? X equals, that. Hold on. If we then take this X amount, which is equalizing with nature because it's venting off into the upper air that's up here, the atmosphere, the ambient electrons that are bouncing around up there, playing around on the hydrogen and the oxygen and all that in the air, this stuff right here. And a percentage of it vents down to Earth. Okay? And an amount, a measurable amount will be on the surface of the structure. We can then cap the top of it off intentionally to not let a percentage of it vent off that direction. And we put a barrier down here, a little step, a resistor factor around the entire surface of it. And that will help quarantine whatever static electricity is there from venting up or venting to ground. Do we have that? That's not hard. Now, to be honest, on the third of the structures, it's actually capped, so it does vent off because that wants to be ground, the neutral. The way the Great Giza Pyramid gets its is because it's double the size. It does have the barrier at the 35th level. It is capped off at the top. And unlike any of the other structures, well, if you want to argue about the middle one, it has a sweeping pattern on its elevation and steps of change of the Great Giza Pyramid. And you can see that there's an obvious sweeping pattern which helps quarantine this static electricity to the upper area of the Great Giza Pyramid. Wow, one would think I'm an Angels fan. Anyway, there we go. That's our... it's the differential between this and this, which is actually, to be honest, the containment vessel. But the other structure, which is hiding out in there, it is engineered to also have the break at the bottom. This one also has the break. There's a deviation between larger steps and smaller steps, and you can clearly see the deviation on that in photographs. It's easy to see. This one also has the break. It also has a diagonal break and a break there, and then the smooth spot up here, and then the ground. What this is doing is allowing the upper area here, the higher voltage up there, to saturate the surface of this structure. This one takes the ambient voltage that's at this upper this upper elevation, which is not as high a voltage here, but is more of it. It's not as high a voltage, but it's more of it. This is the mix between the two, because either of them want to short with this, just in the opposite direction. And that is kind of what is the play between how they're pushing the electrons through the system that way, and pushing the electrons, well, they're not really pushing the electrons. In here, they're kind of venting the electrons through it, and I believe while they're venting the electrons that way, the within the system, a reaction is occurring, and it's that reaction, the condensation from that reaction is actually the yield they're looking for. But you're asking for the energies, and where does it get these energies? Now, in addition to all this, we also have potential physiostatic electricity from the aquifers underneath the Giza pyramid. And there's also potential toroidal energy, the same stuff they use for like earth batteries and things like that, that are being used to actually crack between the cathode and the anode within the structure. It's using physiostatic electricity and or a conduit from the one charge down to there, and they're playing with that. Whatever it is, they are utilizing as much of nature's given energy as possible, each one causing a little step within it. And now when you see this, if there are 2-meter long conduits down there, those are nothing more than grounding rods, which helps to pull that energy or vent that energy up through the system, allowing a reaction to occur. You know, condensation is going to occur within the reaction. They are just skewing the results in their favor. And once we build a model, we'll figure out exactly what the end result is. Thank you.